Oh, here we are in a podcast. Inside of a podcast. Inside of a genie's lamp. Except we can never get out of it. Right, Will?
How does that make sense?
Well, sometimes you just got to go with what I'm saying.
Yes, and.
Yeah, so for your 3 wishes today, we will discuss football. We will continue to discuss football and maybe even get a joke in there. Maybe.
The first 2 I guarantee will happen.
Perfect.
Third one, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, well, there's actually kind of a lot going. This is like for NFL news right now for this podcast. There's a lot happening. A lot of it is conjecture. None of it's like solid news, but there are parts out there moving from Drew Brees returning, because that happened, I think, like right after we recorded our last podcast. The CBA, the NFL is going to expand the season, expand the playoffs, basically just expand everything until it explodes. Yeah. Stefon Diggs, maybe he hates the Vikings. Maybe he gets traded. Maybe the Vikings have no intention of trading him. Browns tackle Greg Robinson was stopped with 157 pounds of marijuana. Greg Olsen signed with the Seahawks. Everson Griffin will become a free agent. And Darius Slay, the 2 top teams who could land the Detroit corner, are the Rams and the Broncos. So we'll try to talk about all of that. I do realize, like, every week I kind of say what we're going to talk about, and then there's at least like 2 things we don't.
That's how it works. We don't have time for all of that.
We give you the best rundown. We're the best at not fulfilling promises.
At least you know, like, the basics of what is happening. Even if we don't talk about it whatsoever, we'll just say the words.
Right.
And you're 50% more informed, but with really no depth whatsoever.
Yeah, so
it's kind of like how you should think of this show.
All you have to do is listen to the first 2 minutes, and then you've got all of the pertinent information that you need.
Yeah, I was thinking about, like, what if we did one of those, like, NPR-style podcasts where, like, we worked on it for months, and it was so heavily edited, and, like, everything was so concise and just heavily researched, and that would suck. That would really suck. I don't think people would like it anymore. Maybe, who knows? But the fact that you can get the same amount of, like, views or listens or downloads doing those 2 separate styles of podcasts is hilarious to me.
Yeah. It's
really, really funny.
I listen to a lot of podcasts too, and there's definitely like a format out there that I would like to try that I think works for us, and that is more evergreen, where you can consume it whenever and it's still good. I just don't see us taking the time to do that right now.
No.
Of
course not. It's for the video.
Yeah, I mean, between podcasting and YouTube, there's room for basically anything you want to do.
Yeah, and some of it involves a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, like you and I, it involves natural talent and exploiting that natural talent and capitalizing on that.
I put a lot of fucking hard work into producing hundreds of YouTube videos every year. But if I channeled that work into making just better quality and less videos, would I be more successful? I don't know.
No, probably not.
I doubt it.
And, like, what kind of work would we put into this podcast anyway?
Well, probably, more facts.
I don't know anything we could do to make this podcast better. I think we've maxed out. If you're listening and expecting this to ever get better, keep waiting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where our strength really lies, though, is that we're never going to get better, but we're also never going to get worse. It's going to be the same.
I mean, we could, but not actively. We won't try to.
Welcome to the That's Good Sports podcast, where we just talk about what a podcast this could be.
The first entirely self-referential podcast.
That's the worst fucking
just talk
thing.
We just talk about the joys of having a podcast.
Yeah.
And having to tell people that you have a podcast, which is the worst part about having one.
Yeah, everybody's got a podcast. The only reason I do this is so I can talk to you once a week.
Pretty much. Yeah, we don't meet otherwise usually.
Let's start here with Darius Slay and the Broncos news, because we've been a little dry with the Broncos news.
Yeah.
We got Broncos fans here, amongst others now, but a lot of divided opinions on Darius Slay. He's got 1 year left on his contract. I don't know what Matt Patricia is really doing in Detroit, because Darius Slay's been a pretty good cornerback until Matt Patricia got there. Then he's kind of pedestrian. I looked up Quandre Diggs because the Lions traded Diggs last year midseason. So he played 5 games with the Seahawks and 5 with the Lions. With the Seahawks, he had 3 picks. He had 0 with the Lions. And he went from allowing 20 yards per reception to 12 with the Seahawks. So, yeah, maybe the Seahawks have a better defense than the Lions, but I feel like a lot of issues with good players in Detroit not playing as well are kind of because maybe Matt Patricia doesn't know what he's doing. And I just wanted to preface our opinions with maybe what's going on with Darius Slay. And then if you're the Broncos, do you acquire Darius?
My first impression of Darius Slay is getting absolutely owned in 2015 by Peyton Manning and mostly Demaryius Thomas and also a little bit of Emmanuel Sanders after dubbing himself Big Play Slay. Getting absolutely worked on Sunday Night Football. So I've always kind of had that slant. But I thought the last time I saw him play, because admittedly I don't watch a lot of Lions games really.
Really?
But he played well. I know, surprising. He played well against the Broncos, I thought. And, yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing with cornerbacks is, we like to think of them as kind of independent pieces, but they play so much better the better the secondary around them is. It's not like wide receiver or tight end I guess you could say that about everything. It's not like kicker, The kicker's a kicker. I mean, I guess you can have a bad holder, a bad snapper, bad, blocking, but at the end of the day, you're kicking a ball by yourself. And
I think wide receiver is kind of fair because obviously you need to have a good quarterback, right? But there are receivers who, like Julio Jones, is going to be good no matter where he plays, right? DeAndre Hopkins is going to be good no matter where he plays. And corners can be like that. But corners can also perform much better. If they're average, they can be good in a better fit, whether that's scheme, whether that's the coach, whether that's just being surrounded by a team that has a pass rush, right? Success in the secondary can change drastically depending on how good a team's pass rush is. It's just like
Byron Maxwell and Braden Browner. When you have Richard Sherman on the opposite side and then Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas, it's the easiest job in the world.
Those are really good examples. Here's what's tricky if you're just like trying to evaluate Darius Slay is that, was it 2017 or 16? He had like an 8-pick season, which is really impressive. He was playing pretty damn good football. But like he's 29. Chris Harris Jr. is 30. Chris Harris Jr. maybe had a little bit better of a season than Darius Slay this last year, but as Bronco fans, Chris Harris started giving up big plays like once a week. I don't know how much of all of that is his fault, but it's like 1 year age difference. If you start to think that's 30 years old is kind of getting old for a corner, Darius Slay's almost there anyway. Why not try to pursue a younger corner? are the Broncos trying to make – because it feels like they're looking at trade options so they don't have to fight in free agency for guys as well, because they've been interested in trading for Stefon Diggs, allegedly. So, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know if Darius Slay would be better with the Broncos. I like to believe that Vic Fangio
I think he would.
Get a lot out of him, and I feel like the Broncos got a lot out of their cornerbacks this last season, and they went through a fucking gamut of different guys. So if they do trade for Darius Slay, I'll be comfortable with that.
Yeah, I think I will too. I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff anytime soon.
No.
And playing with Justin Simmons and then, hopefully Bryce Callahan, either in the slot or on the other side, plus Kareem Jackson, in a good pass rush too.
Yeah,
that's the thing. The Lions haven't had a good pass rush in a long time. Like Trey Flowers is a good piece, but they
weren't dominant.
Bradley Chubb and Von Miller coming off the end. So
yeah, and as soon as
I wouldn't be upset at all.
Yeah, and as soon as Matthew Stafford got hurt,
they gave up. Really, they gave up.
Yeah, and you're not getting anything from your offense. So even if the Detroit Lions defense was, say, above average, if they're getting nothing from their offense, it's going to make them look like a bad defense because you're getting no help. Let's see here. Now, Everson Griffin, he's going to be a free agent. He had an option in his contract, which it would void the contract if he got more than 6 sacks. He got 8.
That's a weird clause.
Yeah, that's really is
weird.
But that's a big piece to add to free agency.
Yeah, and he's 32 years old.
He's older.
Coming off 8 sacks.
He really benefited, of having Danielle Hunter on that defensive line as well. But
Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr. But I like those contracts too, where, we think about free agency as a thing where you got to get a guy for 4 years. And when you think about it, a lot of the smart teams do deals where it's 1 or 2 years for mid-sized contracts. And you think about every year you should just get a vet for 1 year, $10 million.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how much he's going to cost. He might cost more, but if you can get a guy like that for just 1 year, 10, 12,
he's
15.
A player like Griffin. He's the perfect guy to add to a team that's close, right? Yeah.
And you don't necessarily have to be close to get it doesn't have to be I'm going to, this is how we win the Super Bowl this year. Your goal is to make the playoffs. You should still try to make the playoffs and take chances like that. Even if you have more modest goals. Let's see. He's been making – so he signed that's Danielle Hunter. Never mind. I got them mixed up. Where is our boy?
I always want to call Danielle Hunter Danielle. Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, I mean that's how it's spelled exactly the same. I wouldn't call him Danielle to his face, though.
No. I wouldn't say about 90% of the shit I say to any player's face.
Kristen Michael. Would you call him Christine? I mean, Kristen's a girl's name, too.
I think I did call him Christine Michael in today's episode of XFL Power Ranking.
There you go.
But he's an XFL player. I ain't scared of him.
Yeah, what do they care? So Everson Griffin has been around since 2010. And last year he made $7.5 million. So if you want to sign him to 1 year, 10 mil, if that.
Yeah.
That's a good deal. That's a good deal for a year.
It's he's a guy the Texans should add. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's hey, how can we get a little extra pass rush help to go?
I don't know sure what the Texans do until they fire Bill O'Brien, but yeah, I mean that would be good. It would be good for them.
The Seahawks
speaking of
could add him.
If the Seahawks are in that game, like I said,
They did it with Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know if they'll re-sign him, but they just signed Greg Olsen. Out of the 3 teams Olsen visited, he definitely picked well, I would have liked to see Greg Olsen in Buffalo, but I think like with Russell Wilson, that's obviously like a much better fit for a tight end to have good productivity. And the Seahawks are a better team than the Bills. But he visited with the Bills, the Washington Redskins, and the Seahawks. He picked Seattle. Smart, probably, move.
Yeah, smart move. He's 34 too.
Yeah.
It's hard to separate him from the quarterback situation the last couple of years and the injuries, really.
Yeah.
That's what worries me.
I thought he would retire just because he had those 2 bad – he broke his leg twice, right?
Something like that.
Broken leg.
So he's played 7 games in 2017, 9 games in 2018, and then 14 games last year, which is
last year he was pretty healthy. He's probably in a situation where last year he started to feel pretty good, but then the Panthers kind of had their weird quarterback situation, and his body actually probably feels solid now after, coming into year 2 removed from back-to-back season-ending injuries.
Although there's reason to believe that like it was just injuries because, all right, so 2017 he has 191 yards, 1 touchdown. 2018 he has about 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then last year he made it back up to 600 yards in a 14-game season for him.
2017 he got hurt like week 1 or 2. I think week 1.
Yeah, still played 7 games. Although
2017?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like he
broke
his leg early and then he came back towards the end of the season. I think that's what's happened. But anyway, I like Greg Olsen. I think he's a good fit in Seattle, although all of their tight ends get hurt. But say if he and Will Dissly can stay healthy, they can.
It's pretty good. That's an intimidating group of white tight ends between Dissly, Greg Olsen, Luke Wilson, and Jacob Hollister.
Yeah, I think Hollister is going to be a free agent, but if they can keep that, they all look like Hollister models.
Right.
If Russell Wilson can have tight ends to throw to,
watch out.
That'd be good for the Seattle and running backs.
I agree. Yeah, maybe an offensive line too. That's probably number 1. But
yeah, they've done a good job of not fixing that. Okay.
A great job.
You want to talk about Greg Robinson?
I guess. I mean, we can keep it kind of short, but he was stopped at the border. I assume, they didn't really specify what border, but I'm assuming it wasn't the Canadian border.
I'd imagine. It was definitely Mexico.
He was stopped with 157 pounds. It's like a pretty
more than I weigh.
Adult. Yeah.
It's more than I weigh.
157 pounds of marijuana near the border. It's a lot of – listen, people get kind of screwed on the whole intent to distribute thing. I would imagine you're trying to distribute 160 pounds of marijuana. I don't think you're keeping that for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, you got to smoke a lot of weed for that to be for
yourself. Maybe he got it from like the Mexican Costco or something, the Mexican equivalent of Costco.
My thinking,
I'll just get it now and never have to go back.
My thinking is he was going to keep 7 pounds for himself.
And then 100. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because 157 pounds is a weird amount to purchase, right?
Well, here's the thing: is he was in Mexico, they use the metric system. Maybe that equals to a round number.
Maybe,
possibly. But one thing that is consistent between the metric and standard system is 20 years, which is what he's facing in prison right now. Up to 20 years. I think we both agree that this is really, really stupid, regardless of like intent to distribute, keeping it for himself. Really shouldn't be facing any prison time for that.
If you want to be doing that, say you want to make extra money selling weed and you're an NFL player. I don't know why, but let's just say that's what you want to do. It's your hobby. It's what you're passionate about. You need the money. You just have to do it. You don't go to pick up the 157 pounds of weed.
Right. From Mexico. And that's the thing is like, okay, you could tell me like this is a bad thing because the drug trade in Mexico is obviously super violent. Bad news, bad hombres, to take a colloquialism. So I don't, that part doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
You send somebody to do that shit.
Right.
I mean, the joke I'm working on for the episode is about like if Chris Carter could have been allowed to speak longer at the rookie symposium, maybe Greg Robinson would have had a fall guy. But then somebody on Twitter told me that he did. He tried to say it was the other guy's weed, and the other guy was like, no, it's his.
Honestly, fall guy sounds like the worst job in the world.
Yeah, so his fall guy fucking said, no, I ain't going to jail for 20 years.
Also, I know like that was super popular when it came out, but like the idea of having a fall guy, like how much of a dickhead would you have? Like how many years would Chris Carter be in prison for now if he had never had a fall guy?
We'll never know.
With several lifetimes. Yeah. How many of Chris Carter's crimes have been blamed on a random assortment of his friends?
Chris Carter spends an average of 20 hours a week visiting his fall guys in jail.
Yeah. That's too bad. And then he gets to talk for a living on FS1. While his friends from Philly are doing nickels and dimes in the big house.
Yeah.
They call them, right?
It's also ridiculous that, so weed is not fully legal in Ohio, apparently, right?
Yeah, I always forget that. We are from weed.
Yeah. So that's why it's like even more ridiculous
weed states
to us. It's like, although I don't think you can have that much weed.
Yeah, it's a lot of weed.
You could have that much alcohol.
You need a license.
I could have that much alcohol.
As much alcohol as you want.
I mean, the XFL is the Bud Light Seltzer. It promotes the team's halftime celebrations.
Have you tried that?
No.
The Bud Light Seltzer?
No, but I probably will. I just drink whiskey right now.
Smart.
Yeah. Tell that to my liver and brain cells. Okay. Stefon Diggs deleted all his Vikings Instagram stuff or something. I don't know if the Vikings are going to trade him, but let's say the Broncos trade rumors are true. Do you want Stefon Diggs on your team?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the off the field, I don't want to say off the field stuff.
No, it seems like he's got
it's annoying.
Yeah, it's like an annoying thing to deal with, but he's still productive.
No, he's still really good.
To me, it's kind of like he seems like a little more high maintenance Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
Right?
Kind of a different type of receiver.
Yeah.
Not like huge like Cortland Sutton. Not like a above the rim wide receiver necessarily. Good route runner. Consistent. But
he just paired nicely with Sutton. Paired nicely.
I think so. Yeah. I think yeah, I mean the whole idea the Broncos want to do though now is get speed on the other side. And I'm still kind of into the idea of taking a wide receiver in the first round. But
yeah, I don't know.
Because, it's a lot less expensive than Stefon Diggs.
Yeah.
And who knows?
What would you have
be against it?
I guess it's like, what would you have to give up to get a guy like Diggs?
Exactly.
The price is right, fine, but
I wouldn't give up a first rounder.
Fuck no.
Might not give up a second rounder.
No, this wide receiver class is too deep.
Yeah. I would prefer Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
Probably.
Thielen's
I know the Patriots would. But I think Stefon Diggs could legitimately go to the Patriots.
Yeah, that would suck.
Feels like a Feels like a likely ending spot.
Yeah, they always do.
And then they get Brady back.
It's like you just assume every player that's good would want to play there. Okay. Drew Brees is going to return to the Saints, which means Teddy Bridgewater is probably leaving.
Out.
Taysom Hill, I think they're going to keep around, based on what I've read on brief headlines scrolling through Twitter. But it makes sense for Drew Brees to return. I don't know why he would even contemplate retiring. Yeah.
Why not?
Because he's playing better than Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady, and those guys are returning. So you have to return to keep your stats padded and ahead of Tom Brady, because without those stats, you have nothing to lord over Tom Brady. So why would you retire?
That's fair. But at this point, like, it's nice to see guys go out while they're still good. And, like, it's not like he's cutting his career short. He's been around since 2001, right? So he's had a longer career than most everybody. So at this point, like, he's got a Super Bowl. It feels like – I can't say for sure, but it feels like their window was the last 3 years. And
yeah, maybe
it kind of shut. Like, got close to shutting against the Vikings.
The Vikings keep shutting it. That's all there is to it.
I have no, like, real reason to think that they won't be good again this year.
What if the Saints traded for Stefon Diggs? Ooh.
Oh, then he'd be really pissed off because he's not getting any balls with Michael Thomas on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, that's like if you're Drew Brees, you've got Michael Thomas. That's a really nice reason to come back. I think not having Mark Ingram hurt them a little bit. Latavius Murray was pretty good, but I think we kind of saw like how good Mark Ingram really is this last season as he switched teams and still looked fucking like a –
yeah, and probably better. Where do you think Teddy Bridgewater is going to end up? You think he'll be a starter? Because that's not a given. I don't think that's a given necessarily.
I think he should be a starter.
There's a good chance.
I think like all the teams we've mentioned who would be interested in like Phillip Rivers should be interested in Teddy Bridgewater. So to me, the Colts feel like a good spot. The Buccaneers feel like a good spot. Hell, even the Chicago Bears, that would be a good spot. The Chargers could use Teddy.
For the Colts, is it enough of an upgrade to go from Jacoby Brissett to Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. Like, because
like $1 million a year?
Jacoby Brissett's – he's not a bad quarterback. And I think both you and I really like Jacoby, but this last season –
but you can do better.
Yeah, he's not a game changer. And I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater is, but I feel like you're going to get more production out of Teddy for some reason. But
I do too. I don't think he's going to hit like major lows because like Brissett near the end of the season, like he kind of bottomed out a little bit. He was also hurt, and they lost a lot of games when he wasn't there. But
yeah,
if you have a chance to get better at quarterback, you should get better at quarterback.
Yeah, even if it's like a moderate or like, any upgrade's an upgrade at QB.
And the Colts have a lot of cap space.
Yeah, they can do whatever the hell they want if they ever decide to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, which last year they're just like, no, I just like the money. I just like to have the money here. Thank you.
They also could use Stefon Diggs.
I think everyone could.
Yeah. All right. The big thing that I really wanted to talk about today is the CBA stuff. So I think it's like –
help out our dumb listeners who don't know what words mean. What does CBA stand for?
Collective Bargaining Agreement. And the current one with the NFL is going to expire in 2021. So they're getting the deal done early because the NFL has to renew most of their TV contracts in 2021, and they want to make sure they can go to all the big networks and charge billions of dollars for the TV rights. So they're trying to lock this shit down now. and they're working on it this week. The players still have to agree to these things, but it's being reported like most of this shit will pass. So the first one is
Shefty reported it.
Yeah, once Shefty says it, it's a thing.
Might as well be etched in stone.
Once Shefty says it,
a very short stone.
Yes, then Rappaport, also on a short stone, can confirm it.
What are your tiers for NFL insiders? Do you put Rappaport or Schefter first?
Schefter.
Yeah. All right. Schefter, Rappaport. Who's below that?
Oh shit, they're the two big dogs.
Well, you got Chris Mortensen too, but he's like
who?
Chris Mortensen.
Oh yeah, Mortensen.
He's kind of Shefty adjacent.
Yeah, it feels like Shefty just throws him the bones that he doesn't need to chew on.
Who's the bottom tier? Where's your friend Ben Albright? Where's he?
Well, Albright's actually he's pretty good with being correct about news.
He'll let you know about it too.
Yeah, he'll let you know for sure.
He's not really just like an insider though.
No, he's in
He's
in a weird spot because he's local Broncos, and he's also tapped into the national scene somehow. Let's see here. I would say the lowest is Pro Football Talk. It's Florio. But they make their shit easy to see, and they get their info out quickly. I don't know how many sources he actually has. I feel like they just report what Rappaport or Schefter does, but that's what I do too.
All the time. And
yeah,
a lot
they
of people
speculate.
Will speculate, and then people take it as like a headline, an actual sourced piece of news. Which you got to be careful about that.
Yeah, you really do.
We could say anything. We could say anything on this show, and people could run with it. People could say that,
People are correcting me on the DC Defenders double forward pass, saying it's not a double forward pass.
Yeah, well, these XFL rule snobs.
It's a little pitch forward, which we've learned counts as a pass.
Very effective.
It's forward, and it technically is a pass, and then it's a lateral back.
What if it's left-handed, though? Do you get 3 passes?
Yeah. It's more impressive.
You should get 3 if it's left-handed.
Yeah.
Left-handed quarterbacks will be all the rage.
Okay. But playoffs, expanding the playoffs. So they're going to add another team to each conference. So there will only be one bye week for the first place team, and then the second place team will have to play wildcard weekend against the extra team. So this last year, the Chiefs would have had to play the Steelers wildcard round, and the Packers would have had to play the Rams wildcard round, which isn't that drastic of a change. Like, to me, I'm more okay with this than the 17-game season. I don't think they need to do either.
Yeah, they're both wildly unnecessary.
That's what it is. It's like they can make more money. That's why they're doing it.
The one net positive I think that will come of this, I think the games that involve the 7th seed will probably be pretty bad. I think they'll probably be pretty bad games.
Yeah, it's a 7 versus 2, right? So you're going to get probably more blowouts or –
Well, of course we're going to watch. So it doesn't really matter to the NFL because we're going to watch.
Yeah.
And claws sunk deep within us. But here's the thing. Here's the one kind of takeaway that I like is that the games at the end of the season – more games at the end of the season are going to matter. And I think you notice every week 16, week 17 when that time of year rolls around, there's a lot of games that just have no implications. And the more games you can throw in there that mean something to at least one team, I think is good for the league.
Yeah, it's like every 8-7 and 7-8 team are going to have big games that final week.
But I don't like the idea of watering down the playoffs. Like, no one thought the playoffs were broken.
Yeah.
Except for, like, the one argument you could make is the 6 seed versus the 4 seed, where the second wild card team has a better record than the 4 seed and still has to go on the road.
Right.
But usually the retort for that is, well, you should have won your division, which I think is fair. And I kind of like that little monkey wrench in the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think I saw this from Pro Football Talk, was that in the last 10 years, that if this rule had been instated, 0 teams with a losing record would go into the playoffs. And really, there's been 2 teams with losing records that went into the playoffs in that time, and they were division winners.
Yeah.
So, but then they made the point of, they're like, and for all of you complaining, just realize we would have had a Rams, Packers, Chiefs, Steelers playoff game this last year. Think about that before complaining. I was like, neither one of those games sound good to me. That's like
Rams Packers has the chance to be good, but
it could have been.
We
decent.
Really want to see Devlin Hodges for another week?
No, the Steelers
sucked.
They were not a good football
They were impossible
team
to watch at the end of the year.
Yeah, it was bad. I didn't need to see the Chiefs torch the Steelers. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, it would have been nice to I don't know.
If the Steelers beat
the Steelers would have gone up 17-0 and the Chiefs would have won 85-17.
Yeah, right.
So, do I really need to see that? Although the wildcard round will turn into a March Madness of sorts if you have 3 games on each day.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
That's all I thought about was
tired.
This is more work for me. This is gonna make
shit's so exhausting.
January fucking miserable.
I get so tired by the time that 4th wildcard game rolls around on Sunday afternoon.
Oh fuck!
It's you get so spiked on Saturday at 12, 1, whenever it starts, depending where you live. You're just waiting all week. You finally get it, and then it's usually a bad game, but it's fun to watch because you're so excited. And the Saturday night game's pretty good. Sunday morning comes around. That's usually pretty good too. And then, you hit that wall.
Yeah. The NFL already had the perfect amount of football. So now they're really pushing that. So the 17-game season wouldn't happen until 2021, and they would give –
This could happen – yeah, the playoffs will happen next season, 2020.
Yeah, so this could happen next year.
That's coming.
And then they're going to get rid of one preseason game. I guess I don't know if they're going to just still start the NFL regular season at the same time and then just push everything back in the winter 1 week, or if they'll move up the start of the season. I don't know how they're going to do it. They might not even know yet. Or do you know?
Well, which would you prefer?
Probably just pushing it an extra week in the winter.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if your Super Bowl is what, mid-February instead of the 1st of February?
I don't think anyone would really complain about that.
No, because if preseason started a week later, it gives you just.
Well, don't you get 2 buys now in a 17-game schedule? Is that what they were talking about?
I don't think so.
I think that was thrown out, which would make it an 18-game schedule.
18-week schedule, 17-game season, right?
Or no, it would make it 19 weeks.
If you had 2 buys.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Plus you get the bye for the Super Bowl. So that's an additional 2 weeks. So hypothetically, you could move it forward and push it back.
God. Good God. Yeah, I didn't look at this. I haven't looked at the details of it yet.
Yeah.
Because I don't look at that stuff before I podcast,
No, we've gone over this.
I'm trying to learn about the goddamn XFL right now, okay? I'm trying to remember which team Nelson Spruce plays for
Plays for the Los Angeles, whatever
Plays
they
for
are.
the Wildcats.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cats.
XFL's being good to me right now, though. I'll tell you that.
It's sending your kids to college is what it is.
Yes. Send them to college.
That's a euphemism or something else. Do we have any thoughts on the XFL? I watched it on a TV while I was bowling last week.
I'm enjoying it enough. It's I have to watch as much of it as I can.
Defenders are good. The defenders are good to watch.
The defenders are good. The Roughnecks have a good quarterback.
Yeah, Philip Walker and Cardale Jones seem like it's good to have like a sort of a hegemony in your professional leagues. Like you want some disparity and like you want a superpower.
Yeah.
Because it creates like a narrative. Because if everybody's like roughly the same, that's boring as hell. It feels like chaotic and you know.
And I think
nothing to hang your hat on. And you want to like root against somebody or for somebody.
Right. I haven't found I'm starting to hate the Guardians.
Why is that? Because they're named after that shitty website?
Yeah. Because Matt McGloin's kind of annoying. Not like annoying enough to actually hate, but I'm just like,
He's the quarterback at Penn State. Well, they had the like Sandusky thing, right?
I guess.
So basically his fault.
Yeah, so he probably taught Sandusky how to be a pedophile, is what you're saying.
Does Jerry Sandusky ever remember the New Orleans Saints?
Yeah, no shit.
They were coaching the defense there.
I think Jordan Teamu's playing pretty good quarterback play too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the football's been decent. It's not NFL football, obviously.
It's better than the AAF.
It is better than the AAF in terms of the level of quality. Right now, I don't understand how Mark Trestman got a coaching job. He seems very incompetent, and his players are starting to turn on him as well on Twitter. So that's interesting.
Maybe they'll just fire him. Like this league has proven, like, you know, Pepper Johnson got fired in LA as defensive coordinator after 1 week. So
yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they'll just, maybe there'll be crazy turnover in this league.
Yeah, he went in with the brilliant idea of rotating quarterbacks throughout a game.
Oh God!
So he was.
Fuck has that ever worked?
Never. The first half, he was rotating Taylor Cornelius and Quentin Flowers, and everybody thought Quentin Flowers was going to start, and he started Taylor Cornelius.
I mean, I guess we did just talk about Drew Brees and Taysom Hill, but
yeah, but like Taysom Hill comes in.
Not a true rotation.
Yeah, it's not like one series goes to Brees, one goes to Taysom, so neither guy can develop chemistry or a rhythm.
That's some week one college football ass bullshit.
Yeah, so
stop being a coward and name a starter.
The games look and sound bad. The only thing I don't like about it are the extra points. Like the teams.
Yeah, I don't think it makes it better, honestly.
No, the teams almost never convert. I don't know why teams keep going for 1 point.
Yeah.
Because they're not converting those. So like instead of starting from the 2, start from the 5 and give yourself a little more room to pass, or fucking just go for 3 every single time from the 10, like, or wherever.
Yeah, because if you get it, like, you'd have to do the math and see how it works out. But if you make like 1 out of every 4 3-point attempts, it probably justifies going for it every time.
Yeah, and I think it's less than that.
It's probably like 1 in like 5 or I don't know.
I think you should have all of those options, but you should still be able to just kick an extra goddamn point. Like,
yeah, seriously.
You know why they made the rule that way? Because extra points were supposed to be easy.
Sense.
Yeah,
yes.
It's supposed to be a thing.
And like, I don't know, that shit's stressful at the end. Like, it's like, well, now it's going to throw in an extra wrinkle at the end of the game. It's like, was there anything wrong with the end of football games?
No.
Like, were we upset that they were like tied?
Nope.
Nope.
Or that we could predict what scoring patterns would happen?
Exactly, yeah.
7, 14, 21, 28. Like,
is this bad for us?
All these stupid even numbers. 22-12.
We want the math to math.
Yeah, we want to know what the math is.
Yeah. Makes a field goal. It makes a kicking game less important because, like, how often now are you going to be down by exactly 3 points?
Yeah, never.
No.
It's impossible.
Football used to be a nice little even piece of paper that folded up perfectly.
That's right.
And now it's just a crumpled up ball.
I used to like it the way it was.
And we're going to throw it in the trash pretty soon.
We're going to burn that trash after we throw it in there, too.
Yeah.
We're going to burn it all.
We're going to burn it. We're going to set it aflame. And we're going to burn down the great institution that is the National Football League.
Yep. So it can become baseball.
Which is not experiencing any controversy.
No.
Or overhaul or rule changes right
God. Man, being a commissioner is such an easy job, and they all seem to fuck it up. Except for
I
Adam Silver.
I think Rob Manfred's got some – Adam Silver's fucked up a lot, but I don't know. He doesn't get called on it. He doesn't get called out for it.
Oh, smart.
Yeah.
I could be a commissioner. I'll tell you that.
What if this Astros thing is like, where was this energy when the Patriots get caught cheating every 3 years? You know?
Well, Goodell went all in just on the worst cheating scandal. He went all in for air pressure.
Yeah, but there's accountability there. And everyone turned on the Astros, basically. The only people that haven't turned on the Astros are the Astros.
Yeah. No, it's insane.
A lot of people came to the Patriots' defense. And now for Spygate and the sign stealing thing are roughly the same thing, you know? It's everybody does it to some extent, but the Patriots and the Astros took it too far, right?
Right.
And they both got called out by teams that noticed this and were getting pissed off and made complaints. And people were making complaints before, and finally it stuck. But for some reason, we give the Patriots a pass.
Well, we don't.
No, we don't. But nationally, they get a pass for whatever reason. And the Astros are getting called out for it. And the Astros are, their coach is gone. Their general manager is gone. Not the case in New England. Bill Belichick gets to stay. Tom Brady gets to stay.
Yeah, it'd been cool if one of them got fired.
The Astros should have they should have taken a page out of the Patriots playbook and just denied everything.
Bill should have gotten fired the first time, and Tom should have gotten fired the second time.
Yes. I like when we say fired for a quarterback instead of released.
Yeah, fired.
Like when Trump says it.
Fired.
If you kneel down on the sideline, you're fired.
You're fired.
That's what. Okay.
Fired.
From now on, we're just gonna instead. If anybody gets released, it's just they're fired now.
He got fired today.
Yeah. Greg Robinson has been fired from the Browns.
Well, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, it is. It's the exact same thing.
You can say cut, released, or fired.
Yeah.
We're gonna say
waived,
fired now.
Yeah, I don't know the difference between getting waived and getting released.
Yeah, waived, released.
I guess
cut.
waived puts you on waivers.
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't matter.
Who gives a shit?
They have been relieved of their work station.
You're fired.
duties.
You're fired, okay? Without severance. Usually with severance.
The Broncos are in the process of firing Chris Harris Jr.
Yeah. We're negotiating his firing right now. We're giving him a pink slip. Here's a box. Take out your stuff.
Yeah,
We're going to have a security guard escort you to the door so you don't steal anything.
I think we just need to use older-timey references for everything now.
Yeah.
Pink slip's really good.
Pink slip, yeah. What else? I think we should start trading players for objects again, a can of beans. You know how they say that? So instead of just releasing a guy for someone to get signed, I think we should actually trade insignificant players for like cans of beans or like a bag of balls. You know,
I think you're losing.
as degrading as that would be. I mean, I guess
You're
it's better than
losing me
getting
here.
fired. I just have to having to tell the wife that you got fired today.
Honey, the Denver
Bad
Broncos
news, I've been
fired
fired.
me.
Getting burned deep.
Yeah, only coaches get fired.
Yeah, it's too bad.
And right now, I am firing this episode.
You're fired. To all the listeners, you've been fired.